In the history of Russia, you may be shocked to learn that its pretty outward hatred for the LGBTQI is a relatively new take, compared with the previous periods in Russian history. Once known bluntly as the land of sodomy by its Western European neighbors, there have been multiple periods in its turbulent history where many LGBTQI people have lived freely. So what flipped Russia to the way it is today? Dan Healy, a professor in modern Russian history at the University of Oxford, told Gay Star News, in 1933, there was a conversation among the top of the Soviet regime, led by Stalin, who was consolidating his power as a dictator. There's a crisis in the cities as there isn't enough houses or food, and they're trying to sort out who belongs in each city and who doesn't. Soviet leaders claimed there were wads of gay men who appeared to be conspiring in groups together, and they recommended a law against sodomy so they could put those people in prison. Stalin enthusiastically agreed. They began the crackdown on minority groups in an attempt to control the chaos they had created with their economic policies. Thousands of LGBTQI people during this time were sent to the Gulag, Siberian internment labor camps where most of them froze or starved to death. There was no hiding who they were from others in the Gulag, with survivors writing how women often toughened up and became butch as a way to survive, while effeminate men would often play the partner to a tougher, more masculine man. After Stalin died in 1953, he was replaced by Nikita Khrushchev, who proceeded to liberalize the Stalin-era laws regarding marriage, divorce, and abortion, but the anti-gay criminal law remained. In the 1980s, the LGBTQI movement was exploding all over the world, and Russia was no exception. In the wake of a democratic reform, Russians were making huge strides in having their voices be heard. Gay and lesbian newspapers were produced, a vast majority of them in the 90s, coming from all over Russia, even from some small places in Siberia. In a huge win, homosexuality was decriminalized in 1993, but then the Putin era reared its ugly head and stifled progress.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Gone were the queer-based newspapers, and in their absence was rampant homophobia. Censorship of the LGBTQI crowd grew, leading up to the enactment of the gay propaganda ban in 2013. The Russian government's stated purpose for the law was to protect children from being exposed to homosexuality and content presenting homosexuality as being a norm in society, under the argument that it contradicts traditional family values. And while Russia is pretty well known for constantly trying to silence the voices of LGBTQI artists, art, like it's known to do, has always found a way to prevail. Vadim Kozin was a Soviet pop star who made 17 hit records in the late 30s and early 40s. One of his queer hits involved lyrics about the importance of male friendship, which led to Kozin being arrested and sent to the Gulag. After Stalin had died, Kozin attempted to restart his career. He could do some tours, but he was rearrested on homosexual offenses in 1969, Dan Healy said. He lived until about 1994 in a remote town he was exiled to by the Gulag. Bisexual film director Sergei Parajanov was a nuisance to Russian leaders because of his extravagant and campy art films. The Color of Pomegranates, released in 1969, is still famous to this day and is often considered one of the greatest films ever made. He was arrested twice on homosexual offenses in the 70s. And of course, there's the constant pain in Putin's side, Pussy Riot. Pussy Riot was founded in August 2011 in the Russian city of Moscow. They began to gain momentum after two members, Nadia Telekonikova and Yekaterina Smuchevich, who used to belong to another anarchist art collective called Voynia, played a recording of Pussy Riot's song Ube Sexista, Kill the Sexist, at a lecture on feminist punk. In October 2020, several members of Pussy Riot were detained in Moscow after affixing rainbow flags to government buildings, including the FSB Security Service and the Ministry of Culture, in protest against homophobia in Russia. Pussy Riot, in an interview about the rainbow flags, said that the flags were our gift to Putin as a symbol of missing love and freedom. They also made a list of demands, including the investigation of the killings and kidnappings of gay, lesbian, transgender, and queer people in Chechnya, an end to the harassment of activists and organizations that help the LGBTQI community, to legalize same-sex partnerships, and to stop taking away children from such families, even suggesting making Putin's birthday on October 7th an annual holiday, as LGBTQI Visibility Day. And when it comes to a band with a song that caused quite a bit of controversy in the early 2000s, none hit harder than the 2002 hit by t.a.T.u, All the Things She Said. Hello, and welcome on back to Hearting in a Love Song, the show where we take a trip to the past to discover the history of a love song we all know and love. This week, we head to Russia to learn about how two women caused quite a stir, with a ballad about their love for one another. All the Things She Said by t.a.T.u. We start our story in Moscow on October 4th, 1984. That is where and when we meet up with Sergei Katin and his wife, Inessa Katina, as they welcome to the world a baby girl named Alina Sergeyevna Katina, who would later take on the stage name Lena Katina. Sergei Katin was a well-known Russian producer, songwriter, and creator of Duna, or Dune, an extremely popular pop band in the 1980s and into the 90s, while Inessa was an accomplished musician herself who had studied at the Music University in Moscow. Together they instilled a love of rock into her, exposing her to bands like Pink Floyd, Queen, The Beatles, and Led Zeppelin. Encouraged by her parents, at the age of 4, Lena began exploring her own artistic talents, engaging in figure skating, swimming, gymnastics, acting classes, and horseback riding, before finally landing on piano. By the time she was 7, she began regular school, and within a year she entered the Moscow Music School to take on proper piano classes. When she was 9, she became a part of the children's ensemble, The Avenue, where she would stay until she was 11. After leaving The Avenue, she moved on to bigger and better things, specifically a group known as t.a.T.u, aka Fidgets, with the title referring to fidgety children who are unable to sit quietly in one place. It was there that she would meet and befriend We start our part of the story in Moscow on February 20th, 1985. That is where and when we meet off with Oleg Volkov and his wife, Larissa Volkova, who just welcomed to the world Yulia Olgovna Volkova, who would later take on the name Julia Volkova. From childhood, Julia knew that her biggest dream in life was to become a musician, prompting her parents to let her take piano and singing lessons with a neighbor, who had heard and had been extremely impressed by Julia's talents. On her new teacher's influence, Julia's parents enrolled her in music school, and after graduating from the music school at 9 years old, Julia was invited to join the children's singing group, t.a.T.u. When she was 11, she transferred to a school fostering artistic talent, while remaining in t.a.T.u. for 3 more years. She has insisted that she was banned from t.a.T.u. for misbehaving, but representatives deny this, saying that she simply graduated as all other members did at a certain age. It was also around this time that she participated in sketches from the children's comedy show Yeralash. In 1999, music producer Ivan Shapovalov and his business partner Alexander Voitnevsky were developing plans to create a musical project in Russia, with teenage girls at the center. Reportedly, the pair drew inspiration from the Swedish film Show Me Love, which followed the lives of 2 schoolgirls who found themselves in an unexpected romantic relationship. The name was chosen to sound like tattoo, while being a shortened version of the Russian phrase ta-la-ba-tu, meaning this girl loves that girl. They named the group t.a.T.u, using uppercase letters and periods to differentiate themselves from an already existing Australian band, t.a.T.u, who released only one single called Imperfect Girl. With this idea firmly planted in their minds, Shapovalov and Voitnevsky organized auditions in Moscow in early 1999 for teenage female vocalists. By the end of auditioning, they had auditioned 400 girls, whittling that number down to 10. After serious consideration, they found the 2 members that fit perfectly into their girl group mold, Lena Katina and Julia Volkova. Feeling satisfied with his choices, Ivan Shapovalov signed Lena and Julia, as t.a.T.u, to his label Neformat Records, but the contract also stipulating that the girls present a lesbian image, which was a big cultural taboo for most of the world in 1999 to 2000, but especially in Russia. They eventually signed a deal with Universal Music Russia in early 2000. Over the next year, Alexander Voitnevsky left the project, and in his wake, Ivan Shapovalov decided to sign his ex-wife, Alina Kipper, as co-producer and co-writer for their debut album, that being 200 po Vstrechnoi, 200 kilometers per hour against the traffic. The first single was completed in autumn of 2000, entitled Ya shoshla es uma, meaning I've lost my mind. Later released in English is All the Things She Said, but more on that in a bit. It was not physically and formally released until December 2000. The song describes the turmoil in a girl's soul because she is in love with another girl, but is afraid as society frowns upon this, ending up begging her parents for forgiveness. Alina Kipper has been credited with the song, explaining that the idea came to her when she fell asleep at her dentist office and had a dream where she was kissing another woman. She woke up saying out loud, Ya shoshla es uma, meaning I've lost my mind. Ivan Shapovalov is said to have added the second phrase of the chorus, Ni nuzna una, meaning I need her. To promote the album, 2 other singles were released. Nas ni dogonyat, They Won't Catch Us, and 30 minut, 30 minutes.
Зареветь, убежать, или дверь на замок.
Commercially, 200 po Vystrechnoy was a success. It was certified platinum by the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry, IFPI, for sales of 1 million units in Europe, making t.a.T.u the first Russian group to achieve platinum certification on 2 bilingual language albums, the other being the English adaptation 200 kilometers per hour in the Wrong Lane, which came out in 2002. So let's talk about that version, and the massive success it brought to the girls with this week's topic. When it came time to translate and produce an English version of 200 kilometers, Ivan Shapovalov reached out to a pretty well-known musician in his own right, Trevor Horn. Trevor Horn was the lead singer of the Buggles, known famously for their hit song, which ironically was the first music video played on MTV. Trevor Horn has produced many a well-known song, including All the Things She Said was the first single released from the album and the second track on the album. Right after the first song and the second single released, Not Gonna Get Us. Released in October 2002, All the Things She Said peaked at the top spot in Australia, Denmark, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, Switzerland, and in the United Kingdom. The music video caused controversy worldwide due to the members, who were both 17 at the time, kissing behind a fence. Many musical journalists, publications, and music critics had branded the group's music as pedophilic pop. Rebecca Berry from the New Zealand Herald said, "Think Baby One More Time spliced with Dirty, and you have the biggest one-hit wonder of the year." When these obnoxious, school-uniformed Russian, maybe lesbians, poured their squirrely hearts out over a repetitive dance beat, you can't deny it worked. When the UK dates on their Show Me Love tour were cancelled due to poor ticket sales, it was revealed that the reason why ticket sales were so poor was due to the parental advisory from adults who did not believe that the girl's sexual image was appropriate. In the United Kingdom, ITV banned the video from its music show CD UK. Meanwhile, fellow ITV personalities Richard and Judy campaigned to have the video banned from British television in general, claiming it pandered to pedophiles with the use of school uniforms and young girls kissing. However, the campaign failed. On February 25, 2003, t.a.T.u was invited on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, with 2 stipulations. 1. They could not mention the Iraq War, and 2. They could not kiss. 2 things that they had done not long before on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, where they had performed in t-shirts that bore the Russian language message Khoy Voin, fuck the war, across the front. They responded by performing All the Things She Said on Jimmy Kimmel in white t-shirts that said censored, and by blocking their faces with their hands as they kissed during a break in their performance. The song is well known for its controversial music video, which was directed by Ivan Shapovalov himself, and was shot at the Kodinka Field in Moscow between the 4th and 7th of September in 2000. Preparation for the video saw Lena and Julia covering themselves in dark tanning lotion and getting haircuts. Over 90 people were present on set, including extra actors, and some of the 90 people on set had the job of designing a large brick wall and painting abstract patterns and colors to it. According to Shapovalov, the wall itself cost approximately $3,000. With inflation, that comes out to about $5,000 in 2022. After shooting a majority of the scenes in Kodinka Field, Shapovalov moved the wall and iron fence to Kuzuzov Avenue in Moscow, in order to shoot frames of traffic until the camera changed its focus to the girls again. Shapovalov stated that he wanted the viewers to know that there was a world behind the crowd of people. The music video won the MTV Video Music Award among the Russian nominees of 2000, marking the group's first nomination and win at a ceremony.
And a winner as chosen by the viewers in Russia is t.a.T.u for the video Я сошла с ума.
Congratulations.
Привет, Россия! Спасибо всем, кто за нас голосовал! Вау!
Despite this, it caused controversy in Russia due to the worldwide cultural impact of All the Things She Said. This resulted in the clip being banned on MTV Russia due to depictions of lesbianism and support for gay rights. A censored version was edited together by Shapovalov, omitting any sexual references. All the Things She Said was the group's only single to chart in the US Hot 100, coming in at number 20. It also holds the distinction of being the highest charting song by a Russian artist or group. And as of January 17, 2020, All the Things She Said is the only song performed by a Russian group to reach platinum status in the UK, surpassing 600,000 units being sold. All the Things She Said comes in at 89 beats per minute. Lena and Julia absolutely sold the lyrics that were laid out in front of them with All the Things She Said. There is an aching in their voices as they sing for the marginalized groups that were not allowed to love the ones that their hearts truly desired. Love belongs to the lovers, and love belongs to us all. There should be no restriction between consenting adults about who and how you love someone, and it's a sad reality that large chunks of the world still adhere to the Russian mindset. This week's Love Homework is another song about a forbidden love, Holy by Zelita. And that's it, the end of another love song history lesson. If you like what you learned, and you'd like to continue learning, subscribe, hit the bell, drop a like below, and join me again next week for the history of a love song we all know and love. Until next time, remember to never make out while a crowd watches you from behind a fence, and remember, you heard it in a love song.
Я не хочу больше играть. Все.
Ой, まだ試合終わってねえぞ。ほら、機嫌直して。
Как уже больше.
こいつら腹減るとt.a.T.uみたいにわがままになるんだ。ほら、スニッカーズ。どう？
お腹が空いたらスニッカーズ。
バッターも。